Drake just dropped a new album and he ain't learned nothing. What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG gang. I appreciate you. Listen, Drake just dropped a new album called Some Sexy Songs for You. And I'm just going to be honest. Drake fans, you might want to skip this one. You might not want to follow through on this one. This might be the video that you probably should just forget is happening, because I'm not going to be very friendly to Drake in regards to this album. So that is a warning before you get in my comments trying to disrespect me in any kind of way. First of all, I don't care about being disrespectful, but I do want you to, I want to save you some time. The album title is awful. No matter what the context, no matter what if it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, if it's supposed to be something where it's supposed to like say that this is sexy time, nighttime. I don't know what is going on, but that is a awful, that sounds like something from the early 80s from a low-budget independent R&B label that has zero good artists. And they made a compilation called Some Sexy Songs for You. It's awful. I'm just going to be honest. Freddie Gibbs did it better with the triple S's, but I digress. I want to talk about this because I don't think that Drake is serious right now. He can't be serious right now. Let me just say this first. Before we go any further, if you're looking for a reaction, I did not listen to this album. This is not a reaction video. This is a reaction to the antics, because mostly what we've been getting is the antics. I absolutely have zero intention of listening to this album. But what I did do when I went on Twitter, I looked at the cliff notes, the talking points, and I know, and I one thing stood out, gang. Yes, there is a lot of Drake. I didn't even say it's a lot. It looked like a lot of Drake love, Drake support. This album is banging, da-da-da. Even I saw a post where it's #1 on Apple. Of course it's #1 on frickin' Apple. That's his daggone team. He works with Apple. Of course it's going to be #1 on Apple. But I've been reading, gang. I've been paying attention because this is my job. I can't stomach myself. I'm not listening to this, gang. I'm just going to be honest. I don't want to. That's why. I don't want to hear it. But what I'm telling you is, when I look at the consensus, you can usually tell how good an album is by the amount of bulletin points or the amount of context that they've ripped from the album and starting to quote. You can tell how good an album is by the amount of narratives that stream off from it. When you watch one of these Marvel movies and they have the timeline, the time control or whatever they are, and the timeline goes and as soon as you do something, the timeline splinters and a different timeline and all these different timelines branch off. So when this album dropped, there's supposed to be several timelines and narratives that branch off. There aren't very many at all. So that means he's not saying much at all on this. I'm going to tell you what I walked away with from this album just off the timelines. Basically, there's only really one song on here that really he said anything. The thing trended and went off of trending so fast, I don't even know if it even got anybody to hear it outside of Drake's fans. So this is where we are with this, and I'm going to talk about this because I think he's learned nothing. He's already been accused of stealing the artwork. Yes, he's been accused of stealing the artwork. An artist, a Canadian artist named John Rivers, has a very compelling argument that he did that artwork first with the Monroe Towers, right, up in Canada. He did that artwork first. He was already in contact with Party Next Door for a long time. It's not new. This is a long time. They've been trying to steal this kid, allegedly, according to this kid, and I believe him, that they've been trying to steal his swag for a very long time. This kid is like a kid. And they've been trying to steal his swag. And they finally took the art cover from this guy because he already did a video, already has a picture with the Monroe Towers. There's no reason for them to have this. So now they came out with it out of nowhere and used this guy's concept. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's not a guy making it up. This guy already did all this. He already rapped in front of these towers. He already got an album cover in front of these towers. He did that years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was a while ago. And this guy Party been on this guy talking about, you got to pay homage to me when I bring you out and all this, trying to get this guy to write for them. And he said, no, I believe the kid. So let's just start there. This guy's learning nothing. He's dropping a random album with stolen art cover off the top. Let's just start there. Then we go into, what is the album for? It's supposed to be Sexy Time. So why is there a rap on here talking about Joe Budden sucks? So let me just get into this whole thing, right? Because it's not much really content. There's a song called Give Me a Hug, and apparently that's where all of the quotables are coming from. So let me read you some of the quotables from this album. And this is what we get when we get a Drake Party Next Door. And I skimmed the freaking track list, and I look and Party Next Door. I'm gonna be honest, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think he may be on half of this album. Tell me if I'm wrong, I'm put me in a comment. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If Party's on every song and Drake is on half the album, then I'm wrong. But when I looked through the track list, every song said Drake, only a few said Party Next Door was on it with Drake. So this is in essence a Drake album and under the guise of being Party Next Door. So let me read to you what the hoopla was. I woke up to the hoopla of the so-called rhymes that Drake is spitting on this album that are, oh my God, the jaws are dropping over there in OV land. So this is the first line where he says, this is what I woke up to that was had Melissa Ford trending. Quote, Melissa Ford, you a legend from the 6. Hate to see you with a sucker. He's talking about Joe Budden. He's coming at Melissa Ford. He's coming at Joe Budden. Didn't come at Budden when Budden was dissing him a few years ago, and didn't come at Budden really at all these years that Budden been going at him. Now he's mad. He's on the run. He's trying to get everybody back. So now he's calling Joe Budden a D sucker, right? I don't understand why Melissa Ford catches this random stray, but it makes no sense. I'm just going to be honest. And for you going at Joe Budden, who is a podcaster, when you're really mad at Kendrick, makes no sense. But let me keep it moving. He also in the same song, he goes, if he died, he goes, it's these N-words that become so beneficiary. Girls would be on the stage twerking with a dictionary. That's a Kendrick sub. And I think Drake still doesn't get it with what's going on. People are being enlightened. People are starting to be smarter at what they want to consume. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with being a female that wants to look into a dictionary. But to Drake, somehow this is a diss, and these Drake fans ate it up. They loved it. It was hilarious to them. What I want to say is these kind of lines, right? This is becoming, I'm dumb, right? I am the champion of dumbass shit and dumbass niggas. I don't understand why this has to be a thing where you gotta try to make smart seem corny. Why is twerking in this conversation? Why are we talking about that? Spit your raps, gang. This is supposed to be some sexy songs for you. Is this sexy? Like, I'm dead ass confused. I don't understand what's going on. But let me continue. There's another chain line, and this is actually the last thing that came out of this. I saw fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. That's one of the big quotables. They're like, it's 100 memes already. See, the Drake fans don't have enough power to make these things really work. They're trying, gang. They're trying. These things are low-key mid at best. These bars have zero staying power, but they're grasping at straws. You gotta see Twitter, gang. I might just get off Twitter, but I'm just gonna be honest. But I have to go in there just to see what these nimcompoops are doing. But they're like, yeah, we're trying to get the party lit. Don't compare this guy to my boy ever again. Drake is better in every way. It is sad game to watch. I'm just going to be honest. But let me finish. This is the last couple things that he said, quote worthy, right? Quote unquote, like in the Source magazine, the quotable, hip hop quotable. Here is the last hip hop quotables from this album. I just gave you a bunch of nonsense, but let me keep it moving. Drake elimination, fake intimidation. Take a minute, take a deep breath, have a little bit of patience. Drizzy, you amazing. You the inspiration. You set the bar for the next generation. That is the end of the whole album. I don't know how many tracks on there, but what I just gave you was the highlights of this album. Now, it wasn't supposed to be a rap album. I'll give you that. But somehow Drake is on here rapping about Melissa Ford and Joe Budden, and somehow he even raps in Spanish, right? And I did happen to hear that clip. I'm just going to be honest. I don't want to hear none of this shit. I'm there. I'm at that point with all the antics, with all the nonsense, with all the suing. A guy wrote it today. You're still trying to construe a lawsuit against a corporation and make it about the rapper. Guy, please stop. Can you Drake fans please stop? It's getting silly, gang. You're still trying to make it like he's suing the corporation. He's suing because he was called a word that he can't come back from, and now he's suing over the word. It has nothing to do with UMG. He is suing because he lost a rap battle. He called a guy a name. The guy called him worse names. The guy beat him. He bowed out. He didn't have to bow out. Nobody talks about that. He didn't have to bow out. He didn't have to bow out. He could still be going right now. But no, he bowed out. Now he wants to say they're going to be twerking with a dictionary if I'm dying. That boy's talking about dying, gang. This guy's so defeated, he made an album called Some Sexy Songs for You. Let me just say this and I'm going to get out of here. History has always had this real rapper and fake rapper, or underground rapper and commercial rapper. We've seen this since the beginning of hip hop. And we've always been divided to a degree. We had Busy B, Kool Moe Dee. Let's start there. Busy B, the bone diggy bone. The Busy B, the busy B. Busy B. Busy B was looked at as the biggest thing in rap. Busy B rhymes were very simple. They were to get the party lit. They were party rhymes. Anybody else saying that they weren't is lying to you. Busy B was the king of parties. Busy B would come in and be a rap contest for $500. Busy B would say, put my money right there because it's a guarantee I'm going to win. It is a fact. Busy B come to your party, win your money, and leave with your girl. It is a fact. Busy B hung his hat on being able to rock parties. One day, a guy named Kool Moe Dee, very lyrical, the opposite of, in every way of Busy B, right? Kool Moe Dee was a battle rapper, right? And one day, Busy B came for a battle. He didn't know that Kool Moe Dee came for that same battle. Matter of fact, I believe Kool Moe Dee was hosting it and somehow decided, I'm going to get Busy B ass tonight. I'm sick of this bone diggy bone. Because Busy B was on some like, I can't be defeated. He got too big. He was too big. He was too big to fail. Kool Moe Dee went up there and went at his neck, tore his ass up. Busy B didn't see that shit coming. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He couldn't even respond because he didn't understand what was happening to him. And Busy B lost, and his career was forever destroyed. Now, I'm sure you can still rock parties. He still rock parties after that. But at that point, it became, for lack of a better word, the real versus the fake. Kool Moe Dee became the real, Busy B became the fake. That's unfair, right? But that's what it became. Busy B was commercial. Kool Moe Dee was underground. And from that point on, we started to separate you. You were commercial if you were trying to rock the party or AKA keep the party lit. You were underground if you were the type of guy to get up at the Super Bowl and do a whole conscious set talking about black people, white people, and the third. That was more underground conscious rap. So we've had this thing for a while. Then you had KRS-One was underground conscious. You know who the biggest, most commercial artist was at the time? His name was LL Cool J. And guess who had little lines for Mr. LL Cool J? That's right, KRS-One. Right? I'll let you do the math. KRS had lines for LL and everybody else that wasn't from the Bronx, that wasn't down with BDP, and that he had issues with, that he didn't like their style. He thought that they was commercialized. Right there, we were pitting the underground, because I'm a KRS guy, me all day. KRS-One is in my top 5 right now. Number 1 in my top 5, but like I said, some shuffling already happened with this Kendrick stuff. Some shuffling already happened, but KRS-One in my top 5. LL Cool J will top my. He's in my top 11. He's 6, 7. He fluctuates, but at one time, LL Cool J was everything wrong with rap. I'm just going to be honest. They pointed at LL Cool J as everything wrong with rap. I need love. I'm going back to Cali. Everything wrong. I loved LL. Loved him. But after a while, after BDP started coming, right? KRS-One, D-Nice, all of that underground stuff, it changed, gang. It changed. And out of nowhere, LL was looked at, and this is a fact. LL was getting pushed out the game. He started coming with Walking with the Panther and I'm that type of guy that comes when you leave. It wasn't good. Wasn't good. He had to do a comeback song called, guess what? Obama said, knock you out. He said, I was in the basement thinking about all these guys coming at me, and what would my grandmother say? She would say, you better knock them out, Todd. And LL was the Drake of the time. LL was the bad guy. And artists like KRS-One was the good guy. Now, fast forward, LL had just put out the best record of his life. Yes, The Force. Sometimes you got to get away from something to actually get into it. LL put the best record out of his life with The Force. It's more socially conscious than he's ever been. LL has learned. That's what I'm telling you. Drake ain't learned nothing. Drake is still talking about girls twerking with dictionaries. So what I'm saying is, we've had this battle forever. And I know I just took you on a history lesson. I'm sure the Drake fans checked out a long time ago. It's fine. Good, right? People that want to talk hip-hop. We also had, when Nas was the underground, Jay-Z was the commercial. Believe it or not. And we were cheering for Nas, and we were like, let's see what Jay do. I'm a Jay fan and a Nas fan, right? But I'm just a Jay guy when it's all said and done. So it hurt my heart to see Jay lose to Nas. It wasn't easy because he killed them on TakeOver, but Ether was just that good. So we've had this for years with this underground versus commercial, and we're right back here with Drake being the commercial, Kendrick being the quote-unquote underground. But the one thing we've never had in all of these years is the underground guy defeat the commercial guy so soundly that the underground guy becomes, by default, commercial. Kendrick right now is, remember when Nike was the underground shoe, and then out of nowhere, Nike was the #1 shoe in the world, but it was the coolest shoe in the damn world? Nike was the biggest shoe in the world, but it still was the coolest shoe in the world. They were making 10 times more money than anybody. And Nikes were the best shoe to have in the hood, on any block, anywhere. They were never corny, ever. Nike has never been corny. I say all that to say this. Even Jay-Z learned, right? Let's just be honest. At one point, Jay had went down a rabbit hole of ignorance that was just unbelievable. When he first came, when he dropped Blueprint, I felt it. Not Blueprint, I'm sorry. Reasonable Doubt. I was like, bro, this is a real dude. This is a off the block hustler stuff. You can be conscious and hustle, gang. Because hustling is a form of rebellion. Just gonna be honest with you. No, I'm not going to be broke. I'm not going to be sitting here working a 9 to 5, doing this and that and the third. I'm going to do what you do. I'm going to enrich myself by any means necessary. So Jay's Reasonable Doubt was a real record. Now, Jay had wandered down a rabbit hole, gang, and even I was kind of like, I don't know where this go. It just got to a point. We started getting records like I Know Where Girls Lie. It just got crazy. Let's just be. We started getting records like Sunshine with Foxy Brown. So let's just, you know what I'm saying? It got a little crazy. After this battle with Nas, Jay became Hove. Now, let's be honest. It wasn't overnight, but Jay was always a really good rapper when he had his introspective moments, and he always was going to give you something real. And he even had his conscious records, right? He rapped over quite a few records. Jay was conscious. But when we saw Jay really learn and show you why this dude is really probably one of the greatest 5 rappers in history, 6, 7, wherever you want to put him, was when he got on Jay Electronica's album and he outspit Jay Electronica. Do not at me. Do not at me, dog. He killed Jay J.E. on his own album. Jay Electronica didn't even want to rap. You only got that Jay Electronica album because Jay rapped on half of it. He couldn't get the guy to do the damn raps in the studio. And then when he did them, they was lackluster. I'm just going to be honest. We got Jay Hove on that Jay Electronica album. And that's when you saw Hove manifest into a God-level MC. And I say all that to say, all of these guys, either they learned or they flopped. Jay learned. LL, as you can see, he learned. Busy B, it is what it is, right? I wouldn't say he learned or he didn't learn. But we don't hear about Busy B no more, do we? But at this point in time, and I'm going to leave it at this, Drake has learned nothing. Even the little bit of rapping that he did on here. First of all, you're trying to be a hip-hop god, and you bring out an R&B album called Some Sexy Songs for You. You're stealing artwork, and I don't even know what songs you done stole, who wrote this and that and the third. Half of it, or all of it, Pride Party. And then you're taking credit for who freaking knows? I don't care. But I just want to say this. I don't think Drake is going to end up at a crossroads where we say like LL dropped the best album of his career in his 50s because Drake ain't learning nothing. He's learning nothing. So if he continues down this road, we're going to get less and less viable music. We're going to get less and less content that people like myself want to hear. And I know it don't seem like it, but I kind of matter, gang, because it's people that kind of like what I like. There's a lot of people that don't want to hear this nonsense no more. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to listen to this. You really got to pay me a lot of money to listen to this album. I'm just going to be out. There's almost no chance. I barely listened to the last stuff. Barely. I gave all that stuff one spin. And some of that stuff I never heard over the last 5 years. So I'm just going to be honest. Okay? So, no, I don't think Drake is learning from his mistakes. I think that he thinks this is a phase, and this Kendrick thing is going to blow over. He's going to get back in his bag and get the party lit. Well, gang, I'm going to be the first to tell you, you're not getting the party lit. You're going to make some party records, and you're going to have a little time where it's okay. You're not going to be where you were anymore. People are not going to listen to that on repeat like they used to. it is getting too dumb and too repetitive. And you're not even doing like something new and different with it. You're doing the same. Because I heard clips on Twitter that I didn't want to hear, but I heard them anyway. And I'm like, them joints sound absolutely like other stuff that's already out. It's not even creative. So no, I'm not going to sit down and listen to this. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm off this, man. I'm out of here. Drake ain't learned nothing, and we right where we was before the battle started. CLBMG, man. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. Hit that notification bell, gang. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.